In this video, we're going to talk about one simple, small move that may end up being a complete game changer for a lot of you out there. I love that when it's simple but really effective. So right after this, I'm going to show you how this one move that you may never have considered before, or you may have misunderstood it, but when done correctly, it's going to give you a ton more distance and accuracy to boot. So what is there to lose? Keep watching. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. As you know, if you've been watching my channel for some time, I'm on a journey, a mission even, to hit it longer and straighter off the tee, longer and straighter all the way to the green. And believe me, I keep improving. I can see lots of little different things that I could improve on. So join me in this journey by hitting the subscribe button, liking this video, and leaving a comment down below. And let's go on the journey together to get better. All right, so the small move that I'm talking about is from the top of the swing, when you've made a full wind up, is to take this lead hip and bump it over. We need to bump this thing over about 6 inches or so. And a lot of people, they either don't do it at all and they kind of just hang back on this back foot like this, or some golfers, they've somehow gotten the notion from other instruction that they're supposed to kind of turn in a barrel, that laterally shifting is like a sway or a lunge or something like that, and then they've absolutely taken it out of their swing, and this has left them, golfers like this often get stuck on a plateau when it comes to direction. But what I want you to notice, I'm going to put up a few really, really good golfers up on the screen in the corner here. Let's start with a real slow-mo of Rory McIlroy. So he's pretty good, right? So we're going to do a little bit of line magic on the screen here. We're going to take a look at him transitioning from backswing to downswing. You're going to see right away that he is bumping the left hip laterally towards the target. This is how he's going to get to step down on the left foot and really transfer the weight as he goes around the corner. But certainly one of the first moves you see in the downswing is that big shift over. All right, now let's take a look at Dustin Johnson. I hear he's pretty good too. So you're going to see the same thing here in his swing as he starts down, that from the camera face-on view, you can absolutely see this lateral bump of about 6 inches or so that leads off the downswing and really gets the chain reaction going. So that lateral action of bumping over like this really causes you to step down onto the heel of your left foot. And this really helps get the unwinding of the torso going really fast because of the forces that we're putting down into the ground. All right, you see I've brought in my favorite folding chair here. And you notice, usually I have it behind me in these videos, but this time I've got it in this special location that's going to help you learn how to bump the hips over properly. Now you'll notice I've kind of got a little bit of an angle, and you'll see when I line up that it's not straight at the target from my left hip. It's actually a little bit behind. That way it's going to force me into bumping in the correct trajectory, or you might say on the correct vector with my left hip. So it's going to prevent us from doing it the wrong way, but it's also going to encourage us to make this little bit of this lateral bump. So notice how far I've got to go. Again, I've got this, well, maybe 6 inches off my hip here. And what I'm looking to do here, and you can do this first without a ball, just with the right hand. Encourage you to do this many times without a ball first. Take the club back, leave it back here, and then just bump over and lift the chair up, and then you can swoosh the club through. So I have my students do this drill a lot when they're learning how to make the proper hip action in the swing, really make a good transition and weight shift over. Again, draw back 1, lift the chair with the bump 2, and swoosh around 3. Now, I've got the chair kind of behind me for a specific reason, because there are those of you out there that do bump your hips quite nicely, but you kind of bump them on the wrong vector, kind of bump them over to right field, right of the target. Now you'll see I position the chair to where that will be discouraged by where its location is. If I again take this back and I early extend to right field, see, I fan the chair altogether. I miss it and I kind of go off in front of it without ever touching it or lifting it. So having this chair a little bit behind me to where I have to kind of shift, you know, off left of second base, by lifting it, it means that I've driven my hips really similar fashion to a Rory McIlroy or a Dustin Johnson. So let me give it, this is just a 9-iron, let me give it just a little hit here, and let's see if I can lift this chair up in the air. All right, and as you can see, I'm just kind of sustaining the chair being lifted up in the air about an inch, which tells me that I did make that lateral bump, that lateral travel, close the gap here, this 6-inch gap. In fact, on my backswing, I kind of moved away from it, wound away from it, so I really had to come running at it for maybe 9 or 10 inches from the top of the swing to get back into it again. All right, let's take a look at a swing again from this time from my favorite angle, the kind of up the line, back from the green, back to the tee angle. You'll see a little bit better where I'm positioning this thing. So you see how it's kind of, I could early extend it, I could miss it. The other thing I could do is just simply kind of pirouette inside it this way, and I would not lift it at all. So this is what most every player you see on TV is doing. It's just often really misunderstood. All right, so I'm going to try to lift the chair. Just a little 9-iron shot. Okay, and you can see I bumped the chair kind of off the ground, and I'm kind of sustaining it there. So that means that I did close about a 6-inch gap from address through to impact, and this really helped me get fully over onto the left foot, so much that I'm able to raise my right foot off the ground and still stay in balance. All right, so we're back on the face-on angle again, and let's just talk for a second about the benefits that this bump move, when done correctly, is going to have for you. So first of all, of course, it's going to give you a real big bump in distance and clubhead speed because of the way it's causing you to make a really hard weight shift, which sends you into your turn when the weight shift of this left hip is done at this correct angle or vector, kind of not at the target and certainly not right of second base, but I'm driving this hip left of second base. That causes my weight to all step down on the left heel, putting a crap ton of force down into the earth, which really speeds up the turn of my torso, makes my hands very fast. That's where a lot of club head speed comes from the pros you see on TV. But what is often overlooked by this correct bump move that we're trying to develop here is that it sets the hips and the torso, as my teacher Mike Austin always used to say, that the hips and the torso are really acting in their role as positioners for fast hands to come through and hit the ball a long way. We're looking for a specific position or axis that we want to rotate our body around. You'll notice that if I've got a straight up and down spine here, and I bump it against the chair with my head still in the middle, you notice now that I've got kind of a tilt of the spine here, and my right side of my body is lower than the left. We need to do this. We're trying to operate around this axis like a wheel that's tilted, and we can really let go of the club head without worrying about direction. Now, conversely, if you are making an error in this bump and you're doing a different motion, one of the more common ones for good players is to kind of eschew this bump motion and simply kind of rotate in place this way like in a barrel. The difference in that is, you see my right hip and shoulder, they're staying high like this. They're not dropping into a low position where I can hit freely, but instead they're dropping kind of a little bit over this way, a little bit of a steep over the top move, and I'm going to have to alter my hand action if I'm going to hit the ball straight. And certainly it's not going to be able to be free for you to really hit it out there a long way. Now again, I also mentioned the early extension move, which would be a move in this direction. So I am traveling on a vector, but that vector is more out to right center field or right of the green out here. And I missed the chair altogether. Now you see my chest here is very closed. My weight is more on my instep, so I do not have as stable of a platform to hit on. My hands will never be as fast as they could be. See, we don't balance all our body weight on the instep. You see how this is more precarious of a balance and kind of harder to keep stable. So we really want to be stepping into the heel, which this move is promoting, and this move does not promote. But secondarily, you can see that my chest is really resisting rotation, and so I'm really not going to get that good strong rotation of the chest. It really makes my arms and hands pick up speed. So that early extension and missing this is also another wrong way to do it. That's going to cost you a lot of distance and accuracy. All right, let me do one more swing, bumping and lifting this chair. We'll take a little look at it in slow motion. All right, of course, not everybody wants to drag a chair to the driving range. So you can use like a patio chair, a dining room chair at home, but when you go to the range, it's not a hard thing to just kind of stand your bag up right here and have the head covers be about 6-7 inches from your left hip, and you can work on going and brushing into them as you hit balls softly at first and then full later on. But hey, hopefully this is getting some of you off your back foot over to the front foot and turning the body better, getting more power, more accuracy. Try this at home and then come back and keep us updated on how it worked for you. All right, so hey, I'm gonna go back and work on my pivot just a little bit more. Thanks so much for watching and helping my channel grow so fast. I'm Steve. Thanks to Golf Development Complex in Moorpark, California for hosting us today. Come on down if you ever want some private instruction. I've left my email contact down in the description below. And as always, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Hey everybody, take good care.